Hello, this is Ludo for a new tutorial for DMP World. So today we're going to start to answer of a few questions, and this tutorial is going to be about the non-destructive way of doing things. So we've been asked to explain you a little bit how we can work on the DMP so we can always go back to the previous stages. So basically what is called non-destructive, so in a way that you always can go back to the original stuff. That's pretty important to do that because you never know, if you're gonna be going in the good direction or if you're gonna have to go back at what you had before. So we have few tips and tricks to do this and make sure that nothing that we use is gonna affect the plate for real. So let's start with this image, for example, and let's say we would like to work on this and remove these guys, for example. You always want to keep at least one version of the plate here. So what I start to do all the time is just doubling it and call it like save, because I'm sure that I'll always have it just in case I do something wrong on this one. At least I can go back to the previous layer. Then basically the different things that we may want to do on a layer is gonna paint on it, is gonna paint around it, is gonna do some masks, is gonna do some holes basically, is gonna grade it and blur it and sharpen it and change the size, so transform. So let's go in order. If you want, for example, to paint on it, of course the easy way to do that is just to create another layer and you're gonna do whatever you want on this layer. So let's say you want to clone this guy, clone the grass to remove this guy. You're gonna do it on a proper layer. Then you're gonna select your clone tool and you're gonna make sure that you have it in all layer mode or current and below mode, and then you're gonna be able to just paint these guys out, but at least it's gonna be still here, so it's only on the layer. So you can do a quick selection, let's say for that, and start to get rid of them, the shadows. Keep a bit of this if you want to keep it like a repetition of this kind of thing, and that's how I'm gonna do it. And I'm sure that it's non-destructive because it's on a different layer. Easy. So this one is pretty simple. Let's say you would like to replace the sky here. The easiest way to do that would be probably to go for a key. So you select the one which is the most contrasty, like that. You start to grade it, so you have black and white. Alright, so for this you're just going to do the selection just to get rid of the rest of it. Of course I'm doing it quite quickly right now because that's not really the purpose. So let's say, okay, I want to get rid of this guy and do something else. Okay. Alright, so just a quick version of it would be this. You invert it. Oops. Oops. Sorry. So you invert it. Just put a bit of black here. A bit of black there. Right, let's say we're happy with that. Great. So you just create a mask here. Right now you still see what's behind here, but then in this you can put whatever you want. So at least you still have the possibility to go back to that. So it's a hole made with a mask. So that's the basic tool that we use when you want to do some holes in something. You just use some masks. You never want to delete anything. It's not good. So never delete anything. Just create some masks, because then you can do whatever you want with this mask. grade it as you want. Just bring back a little bit the original one. Change something, put anything behind, like I don't know, something like this. So let's say you would like that. So what I'm gonna show you a quick thing. If I want to do this, if I do this based on that, and then I paste it, I'm gonna paste it with the sky, which is not what I want. So what I tend to do sometimes is just this. I select this, and that's why I keep this save here, because I'm going to create a group. I'm gonna apply the matte that I have here to the group, and then this one I'm gonna apply it. So if I do this, that's the biggest difference. If I do this here, great, apply. Now this one is really a hole, and you know, I can't come back to anything, so that's why I always need to have the save version here, because let's say I want now to go back to what I had here, but without a proper deletion of the pixels. I just need to duplicate that. I bring it anywhere else here, just select the matte, I do that, and I'm back at the previous one. So that's something quite interesting to do. But now the advantage of that is that if I take this, I can just do that, and at least it's gonna be alive here. So now I could eventually put it there, scale it down, put another one, put it, let's say, here, and now grade it as I want. So let's talk about grade now. I want to put this one a bit more in the haze. I want to grade it. If I press Ctrl L, for example, to bring the levels, and if I do anything on this, it's going to be done directly on it. So now I can come back to what I had before, so I don't want to do that. So what we use to grade elements is the adjustment layers, and it's there. So basically you just click in here and you select the one you want. So it can be the curves, it can be the levels, curves, for example. It's going to be here. Let's put it right there, and by pressing it's probably on my keyboard, it's command because I'm on a Mac, but you know, I think it's Alt or the one after. You just attach it to the layer here, and then with the curves you can do whatever you want. So then it's about how you use the curves. If you want to lift the blacks, if you want to do anything you want, you can do it here. Let's say I want to go a little bit like red, like this, or actually that would be more like that. Okay, let's say I want to do like this, so that's now quite blue. It's here as an adjustment layer, so I can always go back to what I had before, and I can even paint on this, which is a mask for that. So if I paint now on the masks, sorry, with the black, it's gonna remove a little bit of my stuff, and on the top I can play with the opacity of it, so I can even fade it a little bit if I'm not quite happy to what I had before. So now I've worked on the grade of these elements in a non-destructive way. Let's say now I want to move this, like to make it very small. I press enter, so it looks like this, and now I say, oh no, I want to make it bigger, so I come back to what I had before. Right, if I go back, if I put it next to the others, it's quite soft because I've completely removed the definition in it when I transform it as a small element, and I don't have any more resolution when I put it back in place. So if I want to not having this problem here, I have different ways to do it. So I brought the bar here so you can see what I'm doing now. So if you want to have this as a smart object, that's the name that allows you to just you know, change the scale of it, transform everything without actually changing anything in the pixels. You just select the stuff and you go in layers and you do convert to smart objects. So it's gonna have this now, and if you start to transform it, let's say you want it small, you can do whatever you want. And even if now I decide to go back to something big, I'm still gonna have all the resolution in it because I'm not affecting anything when I'm going to change the scale of it. So that's also something. So convert your layer in smart objects when you need to. So basically, if you're not sure about the scale of it, just do a quick smart objects. It's quite cool, quite efficient. So let's go back to what we said so far. Basically, always work with mask. That's how you want to create some holes in stuff. Masks. Keep the original always alive. Let's say, okay, now I don't have to put anything else here, so I want to bring it back. So I just duplicate back this selection of it, create the mask. Now this stuff, I can get rid of it. It won't change anything. And it's done. Now I'm back to this, completely undestructive. Here I've got this as a smart object, so I can scale it, move it, rotate it, do whatever I want. It's fine. Here I got a curve on an adjustment layer. That's the name of it. So you can fade it, change it, paint a mask or anything. It's fine. You have here a bunch of control that you can have. So that's quite cool. Few things that you can't do on a smart layer. And actually that's quite cool. Just this one, if you want to blur something, if you do it on a smart layer, it's great because that works as sorry, that's the blur is here. So if I decide to blur a little bit my stuff, I can go back to what I had before. Actually, let me bring something a bit bigger, like Gaussian blur. So it's there. So this type of stuff, now I can remove this as well, so it's non-destructive. If I would do that directly on a layer, that would be destructive. So again, if you have a smart layer, you can actually do some effects like filters, like sharpen, Gaussian blur, all these kind of things, because it's gonna be on a separate slider and stuff. So you can, change what you've done, because let's say you're not, really happy, and then you can even fade the effects to bring back what you had behind the original one. And of course you can remove it. Let's say I don't want to blur it. If I select this, as you can see, I can't paint on it. If I try, the smart object must be rasterized before proceeding. So basically you have some stuff that you can't do on a smart objects, like painting on it, doing some cloning stuff. You can create a layer and you can do some masks on it. You can paint through, so that's quite cool. So basically it's just what you would do directly on the layer, like changing the pixels that you can't do every time you're supposed to change the pixel. It won't work. But everything about transform, everything about filters, stuff like that, that's fine. You can do it. So try to use these smart objects if you can, because it's quite cool. And when you're happy, if you really need to clone anything or paint on top of that, then you just do a rasterize layer. It's gonna remove it, and then you're gonna be able to paint on it again. So that's it. Well, one more thing, to do some grading on a bunch of elements without having to destruct anything. You can create a group here. You put it in normal mode, and then here you can again put your, let's say, a level this time to change. So if I do this, it's gonna affect all the layers under it, and it won't be destructive, because even if it's not an adjustment layer attached to something, it's something which is gonna affect everything under it. It's still an adjustment layer, so it's quite cool. Why did I put it in normal mode? Just because if I had something else behind, let's put something else behind. Let's put this, let's duplicate it, and I'm gonna put it back under it. I'm gonna do here quick mask, and something here. Alright, so now I see what I'm affecting here. If I put it in pass through, that stuff, if you put it in dissolve, as you can see, it's changing the way this is going to affect the rest of it. Just put in that. So that's the thing. Normal is quite good for this because it doesn't change what's behind. The effects just stays inside the group, so that's quite cool. That's it really. What else to be able to work in a non-destructive mode? I think it's pretty much it. Yeah, use some groups, use some adjustment layers. You can put as many adjustment layers as you want. It's fine. At least if you're not happy with something, you just delete it or you do another one, and that's it. Work with smart objects if you need to change the scale or stuff like that, and if you're not sure that you're gonna want to keep it with the new version. So if you need to go back to something else, like if you're still doing a bit of layout or stuff for your DMP, you know, playing around with the size of the columns or the size of the towers or anything, keep the element as smart object so you can always go back to what you had before. And if you need to blur or sharpen things, try to do it on smart object as well, otherwise you're gonna have to affect for real your pixels, and you don't want to do that. That would be destructive. And I think it is. That's pretty much it. So if you have more questions, just ask us on the forum and on the blog, and we'll try to answer. Thanks guys, see you.